Hey everyone, so as the year starts to wrap up, we're all surrounded by those classic holiday vibes, right? But today, let's try looking at it all through a completely different lens. We're going to let a story you think you know guide us, a story that has a pretty surprising gift hidden right at its center.
Okay, kind of weird question, I know, but the answer connects a classic holiday ballet, The Nutcracker, to a story that's, well, a whole lot older and more profound. We're about to see how one small, totally unexpected gift can kick off a world-changing transformation.
So let's jump right in. At the end of The Nutcracker, I'm talking about the final act, where our hero, Clara, is brought into this incredible, magical kingdom. You can forget all the struggle and weirdness from earlier. This is the grand finale.
And this scene, wow, it just perfectly captures a feeling. It's bursting with life, you've got flowers that are literally dancing, people from all these different cultures are meeting and celebrating, and there's just this overwhelming sense of joy in the air. It's like a beautiful, harmonious chaos.
And that word, chaos, is so important. You know how we picture the holidays? Kind of like a perfect Hallmark movie where everything is neat and predictable? Well, the thinking here is that the first Christmas was probably a lot more like that Nutcracker finale. Messy, a little chaotic, and for sure not what anyone had on their calendar.
And that gets us right to the heart of this whole thing, the gift of interruption. It's this idea that the moments that truly change our lives, they almost never arrive on schedule. Nope, they just show up and completely wreck the plan.
I mean, think about Clara's journey, right? She didn't buy a ticket to some magical kingdom. She didn't have this adventure on her to-do list. She just followed a small, kind of ordinary gift, a nutcracker, and it led her somewhere that changed her forever. The whole thing started with an interruption.
And this is where you see the incredible parallel to the Christmas story. Mary did not ask for her life to be turned completely upside down. And the shepherds, they definitely didn't expect their quiet night shift to get crashed by a choir of angels. Believe me, their first reaction wasn't, "Oh great, I was hoping for this." It was probably more like, "What is happening? Nobody was asking for this."
So this brings up a really crucial difference, right? The massive gap between what we think we want and what we actually truly need. It's a tension that's right at the center of these stories. And if we're being honest, it's at the center of our lives too.
See, the people in these stories, they wanted what we all tend to want, don't we? Control, certainty, a clear explanation for what's going on. But what they got, what they deeply needed, was something else entirely. It was presence, it was courage, and it was love.
And this is the part that changes everything. The ultimate gift that showed up wasn't an instruction manual. It wasn't a 5-step plan to a better life. It was something way more radical than that. It was love itself, actually showing up in person.
Now there's a fancy theological word for this, incarnation. But you don't need a theology degree to get it. It's actually way simpler. The idea is this. Instead of sending instructions from way up high, God shows up. God moves into the neighborhood.
Let's just sit with that for a second. God doesn't send instructions, God shows up. This means it's not about following a rule book, it's about encountering a presence. It's about relationship, not a bunch of regulations. A gift of presence, not a gift of plans.
So, okay, what does this actually mean for us, right here, right now, as this year winds down? This is where we bring it home, because the real challenge isn't just to, understand this cool idea. It's to learn how to actually see it in our own lives.
Because the real gifts, the ones that are all about showing up, they almost never come wrapped in a box. It's that community that carried you when you thought you couldn't go on. It's that moment of grace that found you when you were just so tired. It's that person whose love was just there, the love that simply stayed.
So maybe that's the big takeaway here as we close out the year. Maybe faith isn't about trying to do more or plan better. Maybe the real work is to just notice more, to pay attention to the ways that love and presence have already shown up for us, often when we least expected it.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Look back over your year, maybe even your whole life. Forget about the gifts you wanted or the things you planned for. Instead, ask yourself this. Where did the gift you didn't ask for, that interruption, that surprise, that unexpected presence, where did that end up changing you the most?